Hello, everyone. My name is Cash Miller. I'm the host of Marketing Masters, CEO of Titan Digital. Today, we're going to be talking Google My Business. There's been so many changes, that Google has been rolling out for their map listings and such, and it's getting to be something to keep up with them all because, verifications have gotten a lot harder. There's just any number of things, but the value is still huge, and you need to be, you've got to stay on top of your listings. So today I've got with me Anthony Lloyd of Pathfinder Digital Marketing. Anthony, it's great to have you here. You like to go by what, Tech Tony all the time?
Tech Tony is pretty much my branding. I kind of messed up a little bit when I did it because I didn't understand SEO 7 years ago. But if you Google Tech Tony, there's three of us. There's a DJ, there's a guy that owns a tech company in India, and then there's me. So we work on a few things here.
Well, tell us a little about your agency and what you do.
Well, what's up, guys? I'm Tech Tony, owner of Pathfinder Digital Marketing. We specialize in PPC, which is paid search ads on search engines. The primary search engine, of course, being our almighty savior, Google. And we also do offer your traditional digital marketing services as well. But one of the things that I love to talk about and enjoy when it comes to educational purposes is teaching businesses, especially small to medium-sized businesses, about Google My Business, also AKA Business Profile Manager, AKA whatever they're calling it this week. They keep changing the name on us.
Yeah.
But
I still like the Google My Business one, but now it's Google Business Profile. Like Google My Business just seemed easier to remember.
Yeah, GMB. That's old school ones. That's old school. Or there was something else before that. Local something, I think it was.
It was like just Google Local or something like that. Yeah, I don't even remember because the Google My Business I think lasted for a good 5+ years. But Google and every big tech company being what they are, they just change it just to mess with everybody. Yeah, I think because they know it's not going to drive us away. There's nothing we can do about it.
There's no. We deal with it and we just kind of move on, and then we might get a couple freaked out emails from our clients and tell them to calm down.
Yeah, pretty much. So but the current version, Google Business Profile, it's still huge because in fact, if anything, it's going to become a bigger player within the search results, just because things like you've got AI, they've got Bard rolling out and everything, and it's going to change the results. But the way people access maps, I say it's just driving more and more traffic because of the map app and stuff that you use, on your phone when you're looking for local businesses. It doesn't matter if you're looking for a lawyer or an HVAC company or whoever else. So there's tons of value that you're going to get from it. But let's talk about the real big keys to why your map listing matters, why you need to keep it up to date and stuff, why businesses really have to pay attention to it.
Well, just like you mentioned earlier, it's one of the biggest things that people that search are going to see, because right now, especially if you're a local service like an HVAC, you're going to have your local service ads, the Google guarantee up there. And then you're going to have whatever ads appear organically, 1 to 4 different types of ads, depending on what you search. On your personal search history, depends on the size of those ads that you see. If you're in the beta test for Bard, then you have a big giant section of the Bard's going to take up.
Yep.
But then underneath that, it's going to be the ad. It's going to be the Google My Business listings. If you're on your mobile phone, that's going to be the very first thing that businesses are going to see. And if they're using Google Maps, that's just what they're going to see is the Google My Business. They might see an ad on the platform, but more than likely you're going to see those top 3 spaces show up. And it's just so valuable to businesses whenever I talk to a new client, regardless if they use me or not. First question is, you look at your Google My Business profile, and about 90% of the time, they're just going to go, "What? What's that?" I go, like, "AK the map. You show up on the maps."
Yeah.
And majority of the time, like, "Oh, I don't know who's what." And it's the first thing we do is that we gain access to their listing, whether it's manually going to Google, Googling their company, and then clicking the request to manage button. And then sometimes it's not managed by anybody. So, that's good for them. Or a past employee that no longer works for the company had it. So there's a flurry of gaining proper control of that listing, because a lot of businesses need to understand that needs to be kept in-house. The owner of the business needs to maintain that and then delegate access to whoever needs it.
Yeah.
They don't. try to help my clients understand, like, hey, don't let Grubhub or something random, like some guy from India that promises to give you 5-star reviews all the time, gain access to your listing, especially ownership access.
Yeah.
And that's one of the first things that when we maintain is getting that listing properly under whoever the heck needs to be the owner of it, and then delegating access to whoever needs to have that listing. And so it's amazing when you gain it, and especially the first time they look at it, or they set it and forget it, and that's the first time they looked at it in like years or even sometimes months.
Mm-hmm.
And then they'll see, even here in the Dothan market, which is a small market, there's like 165,000 people in this area. So technically speaking, low search volume as compared to my clients in Atlanta and New York, they're having hundreds of searches. If it's somewhat maintained, it tends to be correct. Even if it's not correct, they're still getting relevant searches to their GMB, and they go, holy cow, like 695 people searched for my product and services. I showed up in front of them. And I go, yes. Now, how would 5%, 10% of those people, what type of effect would that have on your business? And they'd be like, that'd be amazing. Because any marketer, I can't promise you 695 new leads per month. In fact, most small businesses can't handle that. And having too many leads can damage a business just as much as having too little leads as well. And it's just an eye-opener to them to put forth the effort to maintain their listing so they show up effectively and properly.
Yeah, one of the things you mentioned, because right out the gate, obviously, you got to have ownership of the profile and stuff. And a lot of businesses do have ownership of their profiles. You make a really good point though about it should be the owner of the business. As an agency, we can be given a manager's access, to it. We don't need to own it or anything to be able to do what we want to, need to do for that profile. But one of the things that I've seen, because in a few cases for some much older clients that we actually do have managers access or the ownership access because we probably set it up years ago. We don't do that as a typical thing, but one thing to be aware of, because who has that access, who owns that really does matter, because ownership can, if you have the ownership access, you control everything about it. You can remove your managers, add managers and stuff. You don't ever want to have an employee, but you also need to be wary. We've been getting fake requests to change ownership access, from people that, like, we don't know who they are. They're just randomly reaching out and stuff, because you'll get the request through Google. So we'll get an email saying so-and-so has requested access, and you see some Gmail address or something of somebody you never heard of. But it's important that you have that ownership access. The business owner owns the profile, not an employee or something, because you can end up having the mistake made that they might grant that request. And then your profile is going to be held hostage. That's probably, that's the likely outcome if you give it away. So if you own it, you're never going to you're never going to make that mistake, because it's like, you're going to see the request. You're going to know it's fake because you're the only person that should own it. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I help my clients with that. They receive, I see that on my end, and I'll text my client calling, hey, who's this? Like, I don't know who that is. Boom, we hit do not accept. And then I'm currently working on a case right now where the client had a disgruntled employee, and they just defaced and damaged the Google My Business listing. And that's damaging to this client.
And that's totally, those kinds of things happen. And you're talking, that those profiles, the years of development potentially, in the sense of how many things that are linked to it and stuff, how much content you put on it and everything, and starting from scratch can really hurt your business. I mean, it can cost you sales. Start over.
Your GMB, in most cases, it's the baseline foundation for your online reputation for your company. Everything connects to it. There'll be Facebook reviews or Google reviews, obviously, which are the best. Anywhere else you show up, anything else attached to you will show up, more likely show up on your GMB. We had a client yesterday that somebody messed up with their listing, and it was down for 3 weeks. And this client, she went from receiving 7 to 12 phone calls a day to 3 phone calls a week.
Yeah,
because their GMB listing was down. That was damaging to the business. And now we're able to get it up relatively quick. Back up took about 3 days, but Man, that can destroy a business.
Yeah, it really can. That's the thing. That's what people don't understand, because often, like I say, it's recording its own traffic separately. It's not recording,
Mhm.
websites and stuff. You're going to be able to see in your Google Analytics the traffic that came from your map listing, but you're not going to be able to see the phone calls it generated and stuff without going into the listing. The listing itself has its own set of stats. So like you mentioned, that you can see how many people saw the listing, you can see how many people clicked on stuff, and how many people, called the phone number and whatnot. And so they don't realize until it disappears, until something happens,
Yeah,
how much of a positive impact it was having on the company.
yeah, those are the ones that somewhat pay attention to it as well. I mean, maintaining a listing, it's not hard, but it is time consuming. You sit there, you build up your services, you make sure you got the right things clicked on it, your phone number's correct, um, your website's connected to it. Even if you don't have a website, you use the Google My Business website builder, which is better than nothing. It's something to get you,
Mhm.
there type of situation, but it's having everything filled out properly. And the biggest thing, and I don't know why businesses fight me on this so much, you might have the same problem, content. Post your pictures,
Yeah.
post your videos on there. And if you, because a lot of businesses, they post to Facebook, they post to Facebook, they post to Facebook, and they give no love to anything else. I get it.
Yeah.
Facebook's a great profile. It has its place when it comes to lead generation. But I tell them, hey, if you're posting to Facebook, take that same exact picture and put it on Google My Business. It takes 5 more minutes for you to do this.
Yeah, no, that's totally something that you need to be doing, because it's a signal for Google and stuff if you have activity going on the profile,
Mm-hmm.
whatnot. And so it's a positive signal. It wants to see that kind of stuff. And you also have a lot of other things that go on within the profile anyway, because the number of reviews, the number of reviews that some of these profiles have getting are up to now. It's getting insane, the counts. So people are going on there. It's like back in the day, people would leave reviews for restaurants or whatever on
Mm-hmm.
Yelp and whatnot, but now everybody goes to Google, and you have systems like Podium and Bird Eye and others that are really good for generating additional reviews. So you said before the show we talked, and you used to work for a car dealer and stuff, and
Yep.
they are some of the most insane review numbers that you can get. I mean, we're talking 2, 3, 5,000 reviews,
Easily.
because they're using these systems and stuff. So the counts are up there. I mean, it's all this activity that goes on in this profile, that you don't necessarily realize.
Now, to small businesses listening to this, when it comes down to reviews, it's something very important that they need to remember. Only get reviews from people that have used your services. You don't leave a review, your mom doesn't leave a review, your girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever it is, don't leave reviews on your listing, because Google will take those reviews down. They seem that they're biased. And Google does figure this out. I had a girl today, I'm part of a business group that gets together and they talk about business and whatnot. Anyway, she was like, hey, if you can, leave me a review on Google My Business. I was like, and I immediately was like, only if you use her business. Because
Yeah.
it's crazy how Google can figure out that's a legitimate review or it's not. And what's great, there's a couple different things several different things in reviews that are very effective. One, if people talk about a certain service, you get highlights on your Google My Business review, like replies
Yeah.
quickly. A lot of people talk about website design, Google, whatever it may be. Great barbecue, family environment, things like that. That's really good. And then reply to reviews. Reply to every single review. Your reply as a business owner doesn't have to be crazy detailed, but Google likes to see that. They like to see that the business owner takes time to reply to these reviews and get this and talk to their past clients as well. But they need to be careful. I read, and correct me if I'm wrong still, um, coffee shops, particularly they see this problem with coffee shops where someone's sitting down in a coffee shop, they're using the coffee shop's local free Wi-Fi,
Mm.
and they're leaving reviews in the coffee shop, and some of those have been deemed biased as well.
which is really silly. They're probably because of the Wi-Fi issue.
Yeah,
So
so
they're seeing where the review, how it was left. So they're assuming it's
exactly,
employees or something.
and they're getting taken down. And so I tell all my clients, hey, if you're a
Huh.
small business, first of all, you need to be collecting names, phone numbers, and emails. If anything, name, and email. And then after the service is done, if you're an HVAC, plumber, whatever it may be, 2 to 3 days later, as long as they're a happy client, obviously, 2 to 3 days later,
Yeah, right.
send them the review link. And the review link is pretty good. You can email it, you can text it, and for the lack of better terms, it's damn near idiot proof. Damn near, I say, because there's still some issues there. And they click it, they can leave the review. And Google tries to make that process as easy as possible as compared to other platforms where it's not as easy. But then again, like if you try to leave a review on Facebook, Facebook doesn't care about your business. It just wants your money. Where Google actually does, to a degree, care about what people say about your company as well.
Yeah, because I mean, the Google, the profile itself is free, to begin with, and like
100% free.
Yeah, and it is actually free. Like say a lot of things, with Google are not, but that one is, and but there is still an investment of time. And you make a really good point too of get reviews from people that have actually done business with you. There are a lot of services that exist out there that will help you get a bunch of reviews. Don't use them because they're, you'll get the reviews. But if they're not, they're not legit, Google will eventually figure it out. It may not figure out that all of them are not, right? But if it does, it's going to start penalizing you and stuff for that. I know of an agency, and don't do this kind of thing either too, because I know of an agency that I won't mention that they went and incentivized their employees to say, everybody you get that's a friend of yours, like, we don't want you to do the review, but we'll pay you for every person that you gave them $25 per, person to go on.
Oh my God.
I'm not kidding. And, it was a place that had like 30 people or something. So they ended up, everybody's getting basically bounties for every review that they can prove that a buddy of theirs gave, to the business and stuff. And I know how, and how I know that they were fake, because I spotted 2 of my own employees have been giving them reviews.
Oh no.
Profiles in their name. Yeah. And I'm like, so somebody, they were willing to pay him or something, so it's like, so don't do those kinds of things. Those are unscrupulous. They're not, there's plenty of ways.
You'll find out. It's crazy how detailed they can do this type of stuff, man.
Yeah, and there's plenty of ways to get legitimate reviews. Like I say, there's good software systems, that you can use that can help make it more of an automated process, so you don't have to spend as much time. But you can, they're going to tap into your CRMs, or your accounting and such, where it's, hey, this is a new customer. Let's send them a request because now we can see a service is completed, So yes, reviews are huge. People are reading them constantly, especially in certain categories, restaurants and things like that. But service providers, and you really have to pay attention. One of the things that, just to finish on the review subject, one of the things I had recently happen was I ended up with a cracked windshield, and I was going to use a Safelite auto glass. I wanted to get the repair done on a Saturday. This is why you need to monitor this stuff. So I wanted it done on a Saturday. I figured they could do it. I went to their profile, found the local, franchisee and stuff. And they had a rating of, I think it was 2.4 with 100 reviews. Yeah.
Dang.
So, and so needless to say, this is why you need to pay attention, because their rating was getting killed. They're not doing anything about it. I read some of those reviews. They were horrible. So I waited till Monday and hired somebody else. They were the only one open on a Saturday. I'm like, if everybody's experience is, that bad, I'm not about to do business with them. I'm gonna take the advice of the reviews and I'm gonna go somewhere else. And that's what I did. So you want to stay on top of this stuff.
Reviews are a little bit of a double-sided sword. Sometimes I want to say, so if you're listening to this and you leave reviews, remember, Google will highlight you on where you've left reviews as the reviewer. And it shows, I love it. It's mostly on desktop. If you go to your reviewer, you click on their name, it pulls up a separate window, and it works primarily on desktop. And it shows you where they left all the reviews with little pin drops. You can see where someone's been. So it's a little bit of a sword. If you're on my TikTok page, I'll do reviewing the reviewer videos, and I will. It's public, so it's not like I have to do anything special to find this person, but it'll show their profile and they're like, this is a very negative person. They leave nothing but 1-star reviews.
Yeah.
So like, don't be a jerk on Google just because I can leave a review, because I or anybody can see where you've been, what reviews you left, what pictures you posted, things like that. So it's a little bit of a double-sided sword. Like right now, I got a 2-star review for Pathfinder Digital Marketing. And so I alerted my secretary, and this person's not in our system, not packed, not current. And so we're just like, what the heck? Now, I'm still going to reply to it professionally, because if you're a small business and you get your first, I always tell them, they're like, yeah, we got like 35 reviews and they're all 5-star. I'm like, that's great. Keep it up. Eventually, you're going to get 1-star or 2-star. And when they do, they freak out. And I tell them, hey, there's a couple different ways to resolve this. Can you personally reach out to the client that you conducted the business with? They say yes or no. I say, great, let's reply to it, and then reach out to the person, fix the issue, and see if they'll change the review on Google My Business. And there's a couple different ways to do this. When it happens to the small business, take a breath, calm down, see if it's legit, see where this person came from, and then try to resolve the issue in-house as well.
Yeah, and if it's not legit and you know you've never done business with them, you can submit a dispute, but know that Google is not great about resolving those things in your favor. Yeah, like what I've seen, a trend that I've seen is people that can be, think of it as maybe your competition, something like that. They want to just damage your rating. Mm-hmm. They'll go in, they'll do a 1-star review. They won't leave a review, but Google won't take the stupid rating down. And it's like I say, it's something the typical advice to combat it is go get more good reviews. You have to also,
it is.
Yeah, and you also have to remember, and it's fine to have a 4.9 or like if you got 500 reviews and you got a 5, I'm going to suspect you're not legit, on all those reviews. True. So you have to consider that. So it's okay to have a 4.9 or something. It just says you're not perfect. But the other thing to do also, you want to consistently go after reviews, because people are more inclined to give you a negative review because they're mad. Okay, so if you messed up and the service was bad or whatever, they will, are totally more inclined to give a negative review than a positive review. Yep. So you have to continuously solicit from your clients, your customers, for positive reviews, and you can't incentivize them or anything like that. You're just saying, hey, if you loved doing, the service we provided, please give us the review. And if you're not consistently, soliciting them, then you're going to have the problem of the few people that are mad. They'll be the ones leaving the reviews. You could be right, do a beautiful job 100 times, mess it up once, and it'll be the one person you messed up that'll leave the review, and the 100 you got right that won't do anything.
Exactly.
If you ask, some of them will.
And I know we spend a long time talking about reviews, but they're ridiculously important as well.
Yeah.
Another thing that's ridiculously important is a simple problem. Please make sure the times of your business are correct on Google. Yeah. I can't tell you, and there's a couple of rants on TikTok that I've made videos about how many times I go to a business, says they're open, and they're not. Especially I'm calling it out, here in Dothan, Alabama, where a lot of restaurants, we have a ton of restaurants in Dothan, Alabama. A ton of them. And a lot of them are open at like funky times where they're like 6 to 5, Mondays and Tuesdays, and like 10 to 12. It's just random off the wall. Yeah. Please, like Google will even send you an email saying, hey, this holiday is coming up. What are your holiday hours?
Yeah.
And they'll say on the listing, holiday hours may differ. If you update your hours, update your listings, it really helps people figure out when can I go and conduct business, especially if you are a business that depends on physical foot traffic, somebody walk into your business, make a purchase, and they walk out type of situation. Yeah. I can't tell how many times I usually, if I can help it, I know it's a little more expensive, but if I can help it, I shop local all the time. I try and find a local business for whatever my needs may be. But if I have to go shop physically and their hours aren't correct and they're closed, but online it says they're open, can't tell you how annoying that is.
Yeah, and know that can end up soliciting you a bad review too. Because so
It can.
there is something about Google's algorithm, because you can list yourself as open 24 hours and stuff like that. And one of the things Google's algorithm will do is if you are, for example, you're searching for whatever, and you've got two businesses or whatever, and you've got one though that says I'm open 8 to 5, the other says I'm open 24 hours. And if it's 6 o'clock, if it was between 8 and 5, that business is probably, might be the one that would normally rank. But if it's after hours and the other one says it's open, it prioritizes based on hours.
It does.
Yeah. So it will bump the other one up. But if you're not really open,
don't put for hours.
Yeah, for one, and yes, you're potentially taking business away from other people, so which, I'm sure you're not going to necessarily be sad about or anything like that. But if you're not actually open to do anything with it, all you're doing is getting, that can make you look bad because you're saying you're open 24 hours when you're really not, or you have emergency service and you really don't. So you really do need to pay attention to your hours.
It can hurt your SEO ranking, even if you have a phone answering service, like where someone will answer the phone after hours. Unless, like, I tell some of my plumbers and electrician clients because some of them do 24-hour emergency services. So we make sure on their website it says 24-hour emergency services, and then it mimics it on the GMB listing. Because Google will look at your website and look at your GMB listing to see if things are relevant.
Yeah,
type of thing. Relevance across the internet as well. And if that relevance is incorrect, sometimes, well, more than not, Google will autocorrect your listings on its own.
Yeah.
And it'll give you a little email alert. And if you're not a business not paying attention to it, that autocorrection is not perfect. That autocorrection could be wrong. Yeah. Or somebody themselves can request a change on your GMB listing. And if you don't pay attention to it, you got 3 days. If you don't respond to it in 3 days, it changes back. Now, hence, it's not cemented in there. You can go back there and edit it yourself. But for some businesses that are essentially busy, how much damage can be caused if you're not paying attention to your listing and Google's just like making crap up about you type of information. Yeah. So, but pay attention take the time to sit down, pay attention to everything, fill everything out that you can. If you have a question, chances are you Google that question. Someone made a YouTube video to answer it. Or reach out to a marketer for some tips and fill everything out. Fill your times out properly. Know, are we open holidays? Are we closed during the holidays? Do we have special hours for type of holidays? Do you actually deliver or have curbside service? Well,
right.
Because what Google does a lot is, like I said earlier, it looks at your website, looks at where other places you're listed, and then compares it to your GMB and will start making changes on its own. Another mistake I see a lot of businesses do is that they will keyword stuff on their title.
Yeah.
Like Paul's AC, HVAC, home, small business, local, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah, that's not necessary. And that's the other thing is what people, like the last thing we'll cover is, people don't realize these listings can be optimized. Okay. But you don't need to keyword stuff the title. There are service categories and product categories that if you build them out,
and customize them as well.
Yeah. Build them out, customize. Don't just say we offer this. Okay. If you actually take the time, you say, if you were in HVAC, we offer heating repair, and you build out heating repair because there's a character count within the description of the service. Okay. So you say, this is what we do. And you build out that description. And then you say, okay, now it's AC repair. And I build out that description. Okay. I install AC units. Okay. Let's build out that description, versus servicing. And if you build out each of these things and you can include keywords within those descriptions, then you can have the profile itself can show for more because you've told Google, I do all of these things. You're giving it more info just like you would off your website.
Exactly. Now, if you keyword stuff or you lie in GMB listing, your listing will be taken down by Google.
Yeah.
And
don't be keyword stuffing.
Yeah. Sometimes it's a pain in the butt. But pro tip here, if you're having, and a lot of people don't realize this, I didn't know this till earlier this year. When you chat with Google, a little chat box comes up, when this is directly to Google My Business listings, when you chat with them, when you chat via email, or if you ever end up getting a phone call with them, the GMBs, they are pretty much almost 100% maintained by volunteers. So be nice to these people because they got no meat in the game. Don't yell at them. Don't cuss at them. The nicer you are to them, the more they'll be willing to work with you because they're volunteers. 100%. They got Google My Business is a free service. It's mostly ran by volunteers. And be nice to them, and they will help you resolve the issue to the best of their ability or give you instructions as well.
Yeah. So your profile is hugely important. Is there any last takeaways you'd want to offer up?
Use video. Videos look really cool. They will autoplay on your listing. So you pull up your Google My Business listing, someone's interested in your business, they click on it. You got information, underneath the information, sometimes there's your images. Well, the videos will start autoplaying. It's eye-catching because then they're like, oh, what's this moving? And they scroll up and they click on the video and they can sit there and watch it. It's a great way for you to personalize yourself with your potential client. I have an attorney client of mine that does this, and he talks about his areas of practice, and they're short 1 minute, 30-second videos. He's not selling anything. He's just telling you, hey, this is what I do. This is why it's important. And a lot of my clients, those videos autoplay and they can see them. GIFs also, or is it GIFs? GIF? I don't know what is. Aaron still arguing about that? You could put those on your GMB listing. And when it comes to when you're putting pictures and descriptions, don't keep saying this. Don't keep saying your information. What I mean by that is on your listing, your name, phone number, and email. Name, phone number, and website are already there. Do not take that information, put it in the description, or put it physically on the picture itself because Google will take it down. You're just repeating information that's already there, and it's annoying.
Yeah. Okay. Well, this has been great. We've been talking Google My Business, Google Business Profile. And I'm sure they'll rename it something else next year.
Or later on down the road.
Yeah, soon enough. Because I think it's had 4 different names in its history at least. Tony, how would people get a hold of you if they want your help?
Well, there's a couple different ways to do it. I'm pretty much all over the place except for LinkedIn. I know Cash, we were talking about that earlier. Well, I am on LinkedIn, but if you look me up, Tech Tony or Hi HI Tech Tony, I'll come up. I'm on Twitter. Well, it's not Twitter anymore. It's X as Hi Tech Tony. I do have a TikTok. Yeah, I know. I do
X, formerly known as Twitter.
X, formerly known as Twitter.
Yeah.
And if you just want some education material, all my videos and my personal podcast as well, 100% free. There's no paywall. And I try to keep that fairly up to date so small businesses know what they're doing. And a lot of my educational materials is how to use digital marketing for free or under $100. Because one of the greatest things about our industry, Cash, is that there's no gatekeeper. Like if you want to run a radio ad, you can't build your own tower on your business, start running a radio ad. You gotta go get a gatekeeper. Digital marketing, every business can start leveraging this for free and generate brand awareness and lead generation and grow their business online. So if you want to learn, look me up on Twitter, TikTok, YouTube, and personal podcast with Tech Tony or Hi Tech Tony, and free education. And people could reach out to me, ask me questions on Twitter, on TikTok, and I'll probably make a video replying to you.
Okay, well, this has been another great episode. I'm Cash Miller, hostess, Marketing Masters, and CEO of Titan Digital. Thank you for joining us as we've been talking about Google Business Profile and the things you need to be doing to keep it up to date. Make sure you stay on top of it.
Cash has been great, man. Appreciate you having me.
Yep, great to have you on.